At Capella University, you can learn at your own pace with our FlexPath learning format. Take 1 or 2 courses at a time and complete as many as you can in a 12-week billing session. With FlexPath, you can even finish the bachelor's degree you started in 22 months for $20,000. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu. Fastest 25% of students. Cost varies by pace, transfer credits, and other factors. Fees apply.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101, and I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, we're going to be talking about a question that's been asked 6 times in the last 10 days in our Facebook group, and it has to do with credit card processing fees. And how do you handle credit card processing fees? So before we get into that, we're going to talk about the Food Truck Owners Expo, which is being held this year, July 15th and 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to be a part of that expo, going to be giving 2 classes, going to kick off the campfire sessions, and I'm going to be out on the main floor in my National Street Food Vendors Association booth, where you guys can come over, find out all about our association. You can ask me any questions and just sit down and have a nice little chat. Again, that's in Las Vegas, Nevada, July 15th and 16th. Go to FTOexpo.com, place your order for those tickets today, and when you do, put in the code FTTG15 for a 15% discount. So what about those pesky credit card processing fees? The question gets asked all the time. Now, I want to put this in perspective, because it really annoys me that we have people ask about this incessantly as if it's some big problem. Here's the big problems. You have a food cost problem, you have a labor problem, you're hemorrhaging cash in those 2 areas alone, and that's before we even get into gasoline and propane. But the number that people fret over the most is credit card processing fees. Now, why do they fret over it? Because they're reminded every single day. Food truck owners work really, really hard, but they don't take an inventory every single day. They don't do a labor computation every single day. They don't look at their propane usage every single day other than to see, do I need to fill up or not? The same with the gasoline. Do I need to buy gas today? But they don't look at the consumption of those 2 utilities. They just go, well, crap, I gotta go fill up again. And they go fill up. But every single day you get a report from Square or your credit card processor that says you brought in credit cards today $500. So we're charging you $16.75. Oh my God, $16. Oh, that's my money. They took my money. What am I going to do? So then somebody says that verbally, and then we know Facebook listens to everything that we say, and they'll present you with a million ads about free credit card processing. So that credit card processing, what they do to give you free equipment and free credit card processing is say, hey, all you got to do is raise your prices and then give a cash discount. So you raise your prices, they'll usually recommend 4%, and they're going to pull that 4% out of your sales, and they're going to give you free equipment and not charge you for the credit card processing. And then all you got to do is give a discount when someone comes up and says, hey, I want this food. And you say, hey, it's going to be a little cheaper if you give me cash. And they say, well, sure, I want it cheaper. So they give you cash. So that discount that you just gave them is a cash acceptance fee. But you don't look at it that way because you're not reminded every single day unless you have a system that tracks your discounts and then sends you a report on email that says, hey, Goofy, you gave away $16.75 worth of cash discounts today. But you don't get that report, so you don't care. All you're worried about is the top line sales and how much money I got in the bank so I can buy food for tomorrow. But heaven forbid you get that email that says you have $16 worth of fees taken out of your $500 worth of sales. And you worry about that. So you find that ad and go, well, that's such a good idea. I'm going to do it and save myself $16.75. Yay for you. 73% of credit card holders, according to LendingTree, said they would not use their credit cards as frequently if they were forced to pay a service charge. 73%. Now, there's a whole bunch of people that don't carry cash. 73% said they're not going to use their credit cards as frequently, so they have 2 food trucks side by side. One doesn't charge a fee, one does. Which one do you think they're going to go to if all they have is a credit card? The one that doesn't. 71% of customers said they will avoid a small business. This was specific to small businesses. They would avoid that small business if they charged credit card processing fees. So where the scumbag salespeople come into play is they'll tell you, we're really not charging them a fee, we're just giving the cash ones a discount. Okay, well, then you're, as a business owner, charging yourself an expense to accept cash. You reduced your revenue. That's all an expense is reducing your revenue to accept cash. But hey, the salesperson said it's free processing. It's free equipment. What they also don't tell you is that they are getting bonuses or commissions based on what sales your business does. So these people, and I use that term very, very loosely, I do not like salespeople at all. So these people have convinced you that you're going to get free credit card processing. It's not going to hurt your business, but it does. 73% won't come to your business because they don't want to be forced into choosing between cash or credit. And 71% will just avoid you. Those are high numbers, but they don't ever talk about that. But what these salespeople will do is they get a commission. They call it points. They may get 0.25% of your processing. That's their commission for the rest of their working life at that company. Residual income, they call it. That's why salespeople are so aggressive at giving you that free nonsense, because they're making money on your labor. You don't care because, hey, it's free. I don't care. Being in business means you got to learn how to be efficient. Giving away stuff to other people just because they sold you on a free program, and it's not free. Someone's paying for it, and it's your guest. And your guest can go some other place and get a better price. They're going to. So let's talk numbers. If you do $100,000 a year in credit card processing, you're roughly paying $3,000. People freak out about that number. $3,000. Oh my God, $3,000. Oh my God. Well, the thing about it is, if you're doing $100,000 in credit card processing, most likely you're going to be around that 50-60%. But we'll do easy math and say 50% sales in credit, 50% sales in cash. So that $3,000 expense, when you divide it by the $200,000 you're doing, is 1.5%. Very bottom of your expense list. But you're focused on it. $3,000, oh my God. What am I going to do? Learn math is what you're going to do. The pitfalls of a cash discount program, and that's what these salespeople are going to try to trick you into, because again, they're getting residual income off of every single sale that you do that involves a credit card. So yeah, they want you to do this. So it's reducing your income so that you can be compliant with the nonsense that they do, rather than just, I don't care how you pay me. It's going to be $12, $20, doesn't matter. However you're going to pay me, it's what it is. You're going to end up paying higher processing fees, even though you're not paying them technically, but you're forcing your guests to. And the guests, when they look at your menu and go, yeah, that sandwich is worth that. Well, if the credit card guest says your sandwich is worth that, guess what? So will the cash guest. But there's all kinds of discriminatory practices there, and we'll talk about those in a second. But when you do the cash discount, it also impacts your guest perception of your business. They will view the cash discount as a penalty for them using their preferred method, so now they're dissatisfied with you, or they'll associate you being that gas station down the street with the dirty bathrooms. Well, they give a discount. You don't understand their business at all. If you actually looked at the business, gasoline prices are controlled by the government. There is a crazy amount of taxes already included in that per gallon price. Now, if you go inside the convenience store and buy all of their inflated products, buy a gallon of milk or get a package of buns or some toilet paper, they don't give you a cash discount on that. But oh my God, they do for the gasoline. Again, government-controlled pricing. They make very, very little on the gasoline. That's why you don't see gas stations anymore. You see convenience stores where they're overcharging you for everything else inside the store. They don't make money on gasoline. But you want to use that as the example. Oh, yeah, we'll be just like that gas station. No, you don't. You want to be a leader, not a follower. There's all kinds of compliance challenges whenever you do a cash discount program. It has to be very, very easy to read and understand. People need to know that this is how the cash discount program works. All kinds of notifications. Here's the kicker that no company does. If I whip out a debit card, now from a distance it looks like a credit card, but it says debit on it. It's a direct link to my bank account. That's considered a cash transaction. Pay attention. Watch your guests when they put their cards and do the tap to pay. Is it a debit card? Those are very clearly marked debit. Why are they marked as debit? So that you understand it's not supposed to have a fee on it. It's considered a cash transaction. So ask your little salesperson, do they know the difference? Most likely they don't. And if they do, ask them, how does your system differentiate? How does it not charge them? What am I being charged for those debit transactions? And here's another one that people don't think about when they do a cash discount scheme. It makes your accounting more complicated. That means that if you're paying a CPA, you've overcomplicated their work, which means you're paying for it by the hour for them to go through your records and then balance the cash to the credit nonsense. So you overcomplicate their work, which means they just pass on the fee to you. But hey, that POS salesman that's telling you that the credit card process is going to be free, it's not free. You're paying for it in different ways. You just don't know about it, and you're not reminded about it every single day on an email saying, hey, the fees today were $16.75. So what should you do? Understand math. Raise the prices right now to cover your fees. If you're that worried about it, raise your prices. Back in the 80s, when I was working at Wendy's International, we started taking credit cards. Back then, it was not customary for a fast food restaurant to take credit cards. So we started taking MasterCard and Visa. You know what Bill was doing the day before we officially started taking those credit cards? And we had the telephone line installed, because back then everything was done through a telephone line that wasn't wireless. So we had the machine that had to have its own dedicated phone line, because people couldn't call the store if we used the single phone line. So we had a phone line at the drive-thru. We had a phone line at the front register. You know what I was doing? Going into the register system and programming new prices. We raised prices on everything 10 cents. So Cokes went up 10 cents, fries went up 10 cents, Frosties went up 10 cents on all the various sizes. Singles, doubles, and triples all went up 10 cents. Grilled chicken, the fried chicken sandwiches, chili, all of it went up 10 cents across the board. Why? So we could pay for the credit card processing. Did people complain? Of course they did. Did they come back after the complaint? Of course they did. Why'd you raise prices? Inflation. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I hate you had to do it, but yeah, it makes sense. You raise prices, or you should raise prices relative to inflation on your food and on your paper. But these salesmen, they depend upon you not understanding how your business operates. They'll never tell you about those 2 surveys. Yeah, 71% of people won't go back to a business that charges a credit card processing fee. I've used this example before. You have a loyal guest. They love your food. They will follow you around town no matter where you are. They always pay in cash, and you're happy to see them. Well, they tell one of their friends, hey, friend, there's this great food truck. They're just down the street. Let's go have lunch together. And your friend says, hey, what do you recommend? You got to get this burger. It's awesome. Burger and fries. It's great. You'll love it. So the one friend, the loyal guest, steps up. Okay, your total's going to be $20 even. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. The next person steps up, orders the exact same thing because their friend recommended it. Or they're charged $20.80. Hey, well, $20.80. Why is his more than mine? Mine's always been $20. I've been coming here the last year and it's only $20. That's how much you charge me every single time. Oh, sorry, he used a credit card. We've been giving you a cash discount. We just never really told you about it. But he used a credit card, so it's going to cost him more to eat here. Do you see the problem with that? There is no amount of double talk in the world that's going to smooth over that situation. Now, if it gets smoothed over, oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, sure, I understand. They aren't coming back. That credit card user has felt abused. His friend was treated differently than he was. He ain't coming back. So you had an opportunity to double your loyalty base, going from 1 loyal guest to 2, but you just blew it because you were petty and worried about an expense that's real far down the list. Squeaky wheel gets the oil, and that's what the credit card processors that give away the free processing, that's what they hope, that squeaky wheel is you noticing your expenses every single day. So here's my challenge to you. Before you ever think about, let me do the free credit card processing because I get all kind of free stuff. Do a food cost for a week in a row. You have the recipe cost when you started your business, or at least you should know what your recipe cost is. So if you have the recipe cost set for a product to be a 25% food cost like I recommend, let's go see if you're actually doing a 25% food cost. I will bet you money you're not. You're probably running 33 or 34%. That's what I find when a food truck takes me up and says, Bill, I have a food cost problem. Can you come help me? And when we sit down and do that in inventory and do the actual food cost, they're usually surprised that it's worse than they thought. Oh my God, I didn't realize I was wasting that much money. Now let's talk about math. Let's go back to first grade. 8% is bigger than, greater than, remember the little greater than sign? Greater than 1.75%. 8 is bigger than 1. So if you're wasting 8% in food, but you're worrying over that 1.75% credit card processing, you have misplaced priorities. You're not really running your business efficiently. And what you're going to find, because you don't understand math and you're not willing to do the work, you're going to go out of business. I can promise you right now, you are wasting food, and you may not think you're wasting food, but your food cost is not what you think it is. It's going to be off a lot, and I can promise you that you're wasting labor. Now, if you're telling me, well, I don't even pay myself, well, we got another problem to discuss. But if you have hourly employees, guarantee you that they're not as productive as they need to be, and you're wasting money. And because you're wasting money, you feel it because you're not making it, and you're blaming something that is at the very bottom of your expense list. It's a squeaky wheel because you see it every single day. Oh my God, look how much money they're taking. So you're reminded about it every single day. But the problem is your focus isn't where it needs to be. You're worried about, how can these credit card processing companies do this to me? They're taking all of my money. No, they're not. They're offering a service, and the service is actually priced very, very well when you consider everything that has to be done. Because it's not just transferring money from one account to another. It's also making sure that it's secure, that somebody's not standing off in the corner and pulling all the information off of your credit card reader to run millions of dollars worth of sales on every innocent person that comes to your business. There's that security you're paying for. You don't have to worry about it because it's on the credit card processing company. So it's not just the transfer of money from one account to another. There's more behind it. That's why it costs a little bit. But I promise you, in the scheme of things in your business, that expense is at the bottom. Stop focusing on the bottom. People talk about minimums. A minimum's the bottom. Credit card processing fees is the bottom of your expense list. You should not even be thinking about improving that number until you improve every single expense above it. That's what a business owner does. But if you're convinced that your problem is in the credit card processing fees, just go ahead and sell out now. You're going to be struggling the rest of your business life. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful, please consider subscribing. If you love what we do, there's a link in the description to show some support. Every little bit does help keep us going. Until next time, you guys have a profitable day.